Hey everybody, this review is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be my review of the South Korean movie The Call on our podcast, Find Your Film. I will have a link down below where you can catch all of the podcast feeds, but this should give you a little taste of how that works and also give you an idea of whether you should see The Call on Netflix. Anyway, hope you enjoy.
Bruce Berkey, do you have a holiday? Well, you know what? Actually, anything for Jackson is sort of a Christmas theme selection anyway. Do you have a non-Christmas theme?
Mine are so not Christmassy. I'm terrible this week. So anything for Jackson, I would suggest for a lot of people. I think if there's one movie of my three that might be a Greg movie, it's this movie I'm going to talk about now. Okay. And that is The Call, 2020, South Korean, on Netflix. Directed by Chung Hyun Lee. Two main stars that you need to know is Young Suk is played by Jong Seo Jun, and she's in The Burning. If you've seen The Burning, you might recognize her.
I haven't seen The Burning. You know why? Because it's so that movie.
Long.
It's so long. Is it worth? Eric, have you seen The Burning? I mean, I look at the runtime and I go, okay, yeah.
I haven't seen it. This movie isn't that long. This is almost 2 hours though, so it's a little bit long, but it's got reasons. And the other main character is Seo Yoon, played by Park Shin Hye. They're the two main characters. And here's the concept. And this movie, if you talk about twisty, this movie is twisty. Twisty thriller, Greg. I'm just saying. So the best way to describe this is you have a young woman, that's Seo Yun, and she's coming to a house that she lived with as a kid. But both of her parents are passed at this point, and she's moving back to this house. And when she arrives, she has lost her cell phone on the train or whatever. In fact, she's trying to locate it. You locate your phone and it's not working out. She doesn't have her cell phone, but there is a landline in this house. Now, if you've ever seen The Lake House, which I don't think I've even seen The Lake House, but I know the concept of The Lake House, right? Isn't it? It's Keanu and what's her name? Oh gosh,
Sandra Bullock.
So the main girl gets there. She gets a phone call. It's another young woman, and she sounds like she's in distress. The other young woman, Young Suk, is calling from 1999. This is from the same house. And this young woman that you're meeting now is in 2019. So they kind of build up this strange relationship where they're talking on the phone back and forth. The woman from 1999 is kind of into grunge and that whole thing, kind of a disaffected kid. She's got a really kind of abusive mom. There's a lot of stress in her life. But of course, the woman in the present can look back in history and look at news reports and Google and stuff and find out that something might have happened in this woman's future in 1999. And that alone, it would be interesting enough. But there is a moment where the young version of the modern girl arrives at the house in the past as a child and encounters the woman from the past. And they both have a way that they might be able to change each other's futures. And that alone might be interesting and twisty enough.
That's sold me already.
But there is a twist in this movie once certain things about their histories have changed that I did not see coming. And when it happened, hopefully if you don't read it, you won't know what happens. There's a twist and there's a point where something really changes and you'll either love it or hate it. But once it happened, I was blown away. And there is a cat and mouse sort of element that builds up in this movie that is freaking amazing.
Okay. Call.
Have anything to do with being inside a video game?
Nope. No.
Damn it.
We're going to talk about what it feels like to be inside of a video game later this episode. Eric Holmes will. That's a nice little mini tease to the tease.
This does stuff with time and everything. Like we talk about Tenet. I'm always kind of joking about Tenet, right? At whatever. But
you weren't joking about Tenet.
But I mean, it's kind of become like a running joke, right? I mean, this plays with time and changing events and mind-bending stuff, but it does it in a highly operatic, emotional. If you're on board for this, this is such an epic movie.
Epic. Okay.
Epic. It does some things that are amazing, and I can't describe the type of genre it's an epic type of, because if I did, it would tell you something you don't know for about 40 minutes of this movie.
Okay, listeners, The Call, like Bruce Perky was saying, like he said, it's streaming on Netflix. It's a South Korean film. When you say The Call in Korean, I guess the name, the moniker is Call, K-O-L. So it's The Call, parentheses, K-O-L. The reason why I know this is I'm on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Only 6 critics have reviewed it. Current rating, 100%. So my question to you, Bruce, right now there's user ratings, about 81 people as of this recording, 80% audience score. Do you think that's pretty solid to me? But
yeah,
I think what you're saying is you wouldn't be surprised if that number maybe goes up, or what do you think?
Maybe. I mean, this is a hard one to say because some people don't. It's actually got so much going on in it that some people might be like, "It's too much for me," or it might be too much for them to like want in their movie. They might want it to just stay with what it is for the first 45 minutes, which is kind of that lake house, two young women in different time periods kind of working to help each other's emotional issues. But that's not what this movie becomes.
Whoa.
So some people might not like to go where it goes. I loved where it went, and it does some twists in the second half that freaking blew me away. Like
better twist than The Handmaiden? Better twist than The Handmaiden?
Handmaiden's like a different thing. Handmaiden's like a level of art that is
sure.
beautiful. This is a little trashier than that, but yeah, that's why I think you would love this, because I think it has, I don't say it's like De Palma, but it's that level of not trashiness, but it's definitely a little bit operatic in the way that it attacks some of its things.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so excited to see The Call.
I think you would like this.
I might see this tonight, and I usually sleep as soon as we're done with the podcast, listeners. I usually probably get the video processed, and then I go straight to bed. I might actually South Korean film. Wow, with South Korean actors and a twisty thriller. I think, like Bruce was right, it hits everything I want in a movie.
You might hate it. If you hate it, I'm sorry, but I don't think you will. I mean, I think you'll at least like it.
I don't remember myself, like several weeks ago, Eric Holmes was talking about Asian films, and he recently saw an Asian film that he didn't like as much, and he was surprised that, because most Asian films you've seen, no matter what country, you end up loving. Eric, I ended up with Korean films. Most Korean films I've seen, I've loved. So the way you're talking about this, so you love this movie.
I really did. It surprised me in how much I loved this movie. I really like it.
Wow,
I like it a lot.
Okay, that's another huge recommendation from Bruce Perky. The Call, streaming on Netflix.